morning, everyone. Thank you for joining, visiting my channel. This is Detroit Deb, and I am back with a new episode of Notary Chit Chat. Today, I am so pleased to welcome Amy Seitz, the entrepreneur, the genius mind behind the CyberizeIT platform. And she is generously giving me some time today to talk to us about the notary world, the RON world, things to be on the lookout for, and just in general conversation. So welcome, Amy. Thank you for joining today.
Hello, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on here.
Thank you. So just in like 2 minutes, tell us about Amy, not Amy, the CyberizeIT owner, but just you. What do you like to do? What makes you smile?
Okay. So I'm happily married. We've got 4 kids and 4 grandkids, and then I have custody of my niece. So we've got a big family. And then we have our dog Oreo. So
that's the one that snores on the calls.
Yep. I'm pretty simple. I like to go and have a nice dinner out, but I also like to go and sit by a campfire. So, I'm pretty easily entertained. My dream is to actually go and live in our camper and travel. So that is kind of what I'm working on right now in my personal life. So
awesome,
yeah.
awesome. Okay, so what drove you to start CyberizeIT?
Oh, I was mad. That's the best way to start a business, right? You get mad because you're like, this is ridiculous. I started doing online notarizations in January of 2021. And I had no clients before that. And I'd never marketed for notary work. I've been a notary for over 20 years. I'm actually kind of going on 25 now, but I loved it. I loved the aspect of it. And I thought, this has got to be it. And I signed on with one platform. It was very expensive. In 7 weeks, with the amount of work I was doing, I paid the platform $7,000. Wow. Just in transaction fees to buy the credits to do at that point, I kind of started looking at other platforms. I looked at this other one that's no longer in business. I want to notate that they've shut down, but I saw that they could potentially steal our clients. And I'm like, well, that ain't cool. I've got this list of hundreds of people that have used me that I would be transitioning over to this. And I don't want them taking my clients. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. So I told my husband, I said, okay, so we can either stick with this one and I'm going to end up spending $60,000 if I maintain my current aspect, or we can take that $60,000 and invest it in ourselves. And so he agreed. And he said, let's see what we can come up with. And I pulled together a proposal. I submitted it out to multiple companies because I come from the government. So I always got bids. Okay. I did not write the whole thing. I did write some. I did do all the research on it, but I went with a local women-owned company, and they helped me with the project management side of building the software system, helped me negotiate the deals with the vendors and which one would roll out the fastest. We actually rolled out CyberizeIT from design to full rollout in 7 weeks. And that's unheard of in technology.
That is unheard of. Absolutely.
Yeah, we went into contract like March 15th and we rolled out July 1st of the same year.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I guess maybe it was a little more than 7 weeks, but I was using it within 4 weeks of design. So before it rolled out.
That is amazing. So from where you started off at the 7-week start time to now, like how much has CyberizeIT grown?
So luckily, Adobe added the ability to do IdenTrust certificates. So that opened the door up for other states. So initially, I was just going to open it up to Ohio. I'm loyal, I was only going to bring on Ohio notaries and we were going to take over the world of Ron. And then I was like, well, why stop? I've got all the functionality. I don't have to do anything other than get some approvals in other states. So we have expanded to 33 states and the territory of Guam. We've got our MISMO approval. We're pending our renewal. We did the demo the other day. And, that's something we have to do every year. It's kind of like your loan signing certification. That's that for software.
Okay.
And it's definitely grown beyond what I thought it would go. It's opened my eyes to some areas that I didn't realize notaries struggled with. This industry is very specific. If you're going to do online notarizations and you're already an established business, it's very hard to go from one functioning business model and flip it to a completely different business model. They're not the same industry. You're not going to have the same clients on both sides of the spectrum. So you've got to go into it realizing your current clients are not going to flip to a digital platform. They're going to want you to still come in person. That's what they're used to. So you've got to go into it knowing you are basically starting a brand new business. And if you look at it from that perspective, you kind of see the challenges that come with it and you understand those challenges. If you don't go into it with that outside looking in, this is a new endeavor, and you just think, oh, well, I'll just start getting calls and it will happen, you're going to feel the frustrations because it doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen.
Right. Yeah, right. That is true. And it seems like it's taking the industry or the users longer than I expected to flip over to the mindset that Ron is the way to go. I kind of look at it like how you used to go to Blockbuster. You have to get in your car and drive to go to Blockbuster to get your product. And now everybody just Netflix. So I think of Ron as the Netflix of the notary world. And there are no more Blockbusters. So I kind of feel like it's going in that direction. Although it'll never, I know we'll never, ever not have, in-person notary. I mean, it's always going to be necessary. But as technology evolves, then I think people eventually, get on board. So
I think so too. I just think, think about it. When the internet first came out, even I didn't jump on board with it. And then there was MySpace, and okay, I got on MySpace, and then we heard about Facebook, and then we heard about this, even the social media apps at first, it took time to build it up. It took time to build our trust. I mean, even to this day, my mom does not like to put her credit card in online. She will have me buy something with my card and then give me a check because she doesn't want her credit card on the computer.
Yeah.
Say, I promise.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So we talked about what made you start. You really solved a problem. You saw a problem, and so you created a problem. And I love that you went to women-owned businesses to help you get started. I love that empowerment, girl power, and that they help you ramp up so fast, because that is remarkable. Let's talk about what comes next. What do you think notaries should be on the lookout for in the future, either good or bad? Like, let's start with the bad. Like, what are the tricky things that notaries should be aware of?
So in the recent month, I've seen a few new Ron platforms come out. I've also seen some, I want to call it anti-advertising. basically these platforms are putting out false, well, not necessarily false, but leading details that make people think that specific ones are better than the other. But the truth is, all of the platforms perform the same functionality. We all do. It really, I bare bones, when you look at a RON platform, you need to be looking at your client base and seeing, does the platform work for the clients that I plan to serve? And where's that going to go? And after that, then look at, tech support, other functionalities. And I feel like I'm beating the bush, because at the end of the day, we all do the same three things. We validate ID, we provide a live audio video stream. We also offer the electronic signature process and ability for a notary to confirm their digital identity. That's the functionality of every RON platform. All of the other stuff is just customizations. And then you've got to find the right one that works within your technical savvy skills, because they are technical, every single one of them. Mm-hmm. But you also want one that will work with your clients. And I see that with the expansion of new RON platforms, we're growing more in ratio with software providers than we are in ratio with new RON notaries. So we're seeing a little bit of famine in the software world of notaries on platforms, because there's so many to choose from. We're seeing a decrease in signups, and it's going to get to be a little bit cutthroat before it gets better. And, people need to weed out the ones that they don't like. And everyone's different. There is no perfect platform. If there was a perfect platform, none of the other 60 plus platforms would be out here. Okay.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where everyone's going to have to realize they're going to have to cut through the bull crap and actually figure it out for themselves. And I fear that many notaries aren't going to realize that they're being handled. I want to use that word, not misled, but handled. Okay. And as soon as they're locked into something, then they're going to realize, oh, this really isn't what I thought it was going to do. And some will get on mine and say that too. Oh, Amy, it's too much to learn. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. It's not everyone's going to like every single product. Right. Some people like McDonald's, some people like Wendy's, some like Burger King, some like Taco Bell. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But understand that when a platform starts cold calling you, or they start, leading with deceiving ads against other agencies, mm-hmm. that says something about the platform, yeah. And keep that in the back of your mind. It brings me to a little of a desperate, in my opinion, mm-hmm. but that's also not my marketing style. So I kind of frown on those. So that would be the negative kind of text of it. The future, in the positive stance, I think we're going to see it advance a little more quickly with the adoption of RON, especially since other states are starting to finalize and roll it out. We've got the Secure Act that hopefully will eventually get passed. That will make it easier. I know. I mean, it's not perfect either. Don't get me wrong, but at least it would set a minimum standard so that government agencies would have to accept it. And then we would have and it would kind of have a snowball effect on smaller agencies, just because, keep in mind, just because there's a law or a governing stance in the nation, little small mom and pop shops can choose whether they will take an electronic signature or not on a document. Just because it's law doesn't mean it's accepted. And that's the area I think a lot of people struggle with. They don't understand that they don't go together. It's two different roads. I, as a business, have to adhere to the law. I have to maintain the standards. But at the same time, I can choose to do business with a notary, or I can choose,
Your hand came up.
Yeah, I know. Or I can choose to say, I'm sorry, I don't think we're a good fit. Just because I offer the service doesn't mean I have to provide it to everyone. The same thing with acceptance. Just because it's law that it's legal doesn't mean I have to take it. And everyone needs to realize that. And there's no database, there's no way to search that out. So keep that in mind. But I do see with all of this press and media that is transitioning. More and more people are accepting of these. I haven't had a rejection that I've been told about by anyone. Oh, I think I've had one in the last 6 months. And honestly, in that one, it was because the recorder's office was in California and the notary was Virginia. And they didn't like that they crossed out the I certify this person thing that other notaries can't do, So they didn't like that. And that's why they rejected it. Well, we can't sign off on it. I'm sorry. And a California notary can't do this. So they ended up having it done again, and they still got the same results. So it is what it is.
Okay.
We can only do so much, right?
Right.
Now, as far as what they should look forward to and look into, so in some states like Washington, D.C., on Thursday, iPen becomes legal. And that is on March 30th, if you're watching this in the future. So March 30th of 23, iPen becomes legal in Washington, D.C., but other states have had it for years. Ohio's had it for years. I think we've had it since 2019 or even before that. I don't even know. I don't see a lot of people doing a lot of those. I actually hear more people doing online notarizations than I do hear people doing iPen. I think it's a niche market that they're trying to promote right now. So I really don't think it's worth the investment. And also keep in mind, if you are currently a RON notary on a RON software platform, software platform can do iPen. It doesn't have to be just an iPen software. On mine, you could do everything. Just don't launch the video because you're standing in front of them. It's just a matter of being creative. And then you've got everything in one journal, and you could, put this is done iPen, verified ID in person as your reason for not doing KBA and ID upload. And now it's all in your journal. It's in one journal. You don't have to go, okay, was that online or was that in person? And two different softwares and learning them. And you got to look at how you can think outside the box and save money while you do it, because it's expensive. Going into the diversification can get expensive. And it's with the software systems, it's not a one-time purchase. You have to continue and maintain on almost every platform. And even if you aren't paying a monthly subscription, hopefully you're paying to keep up with the latest updates and trending of that software and honing your skills, especially if you're not doing a whole lot of notarizations. Because the moment you quit doing them, you become what I've termed a rusty Ron, and you're going to it's going to frustrate you through the entire process, because you're going to be like, oh, what did I do here? How did I do this? And I'll tell you, I've stumbled through a few. I'm on 3 platforms. I'm as a notary, you need to have multiple options. One, I'm pretty good at. The other one, I've never been able to do a successful transaction on it.
No way.
No. In all fairness, I've only tried it twice, but I didn't like it. But I still maintain it, because in push come to shove, if I absolutely had to get through one, I would push to get through one. But it was not a pleasant experience on those 2 times.
Wow. Okay. So. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everybody that chit chats with me. What is your walkout song? You're coming to the stage and the music is playing and you're walking down the aisle and everybody's cheering. What is the song that's playing?
Well, the only song that really comes to mind is Lizzo's "Good as Hell." I love the, nails done, hair toss. I think it speaks to the confidence that someone has in themselves, and I love the beat. I mean, come on, it's a good dancing song, right?
It is.
It honors the true essence of every person. And I'm not just going to say women, it's the person. It's a matter of knowing your worth, knowing your value, and not caring what other people think, because at the end of the day, your self view is the most important view you should have of yourself. And that should be the governing or guiding aspect in both personal and business.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Awesome.
So yeah,
that's a good
the one
one.
I rock to when I'll put on the music when I'm setting up sessions, or because I'm sitting at the computer, right? So I'll play that. And the other artist I like is Megan Trainor. So
yeah. All right. So any other words of wisdom that you want to share with us before we wrap it up?
I would say to all of the aspiring notaries or current notaries that are struggling, sit back and think outside the box. When I first started, I had 0 clients. I was able to go from no income from notary work to steady couple thousand a week within 7 weeks. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't, I had to really learn, and I had to learn what I was saying wrong, because I was getting more no's than yeses.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized, okay, I'm phrasing it too technical, or I'm phrasing it too common, then I was like, okay, I had to find the right words, and I had to use the right tone with the client so that they knew I was competent, that I was concise and clear, and that I was compliant. The 3 C's. You've got to have confidence, you've got to be compliant, and you've got to have that power, the confidence in your voice. Otherwise, no one's going to believe you. If you get on the phone and you go, well, we could do it online, and they're like, what do you mean? Isn't that like, a scam? Because I got called a lot of things. And I'm like, well, no, it's doable, and that doesn't instill confidence. And I always lead them with where I want a client to go. So when I get on the phone or I'm texting with them, I'm like upfront. We can get this done right now. All you've got to do is upload it right here. Here's the website, and I'm ready to go. And they're like, online, really? And then we just keep moving in that conversation mode. Even for locals, I get calls to do local car titles. I see calls all day long about that, and I'm like, just do it online. Here you go. And I'll get about 50%, but I don't push as hard as I used to, because I do have a full day. So it's okay to do that. The other thing would be, don't push it if they push back. If they are like, I don't know, you're going to have more time defending your stance than you are going to make in that transaction.
Okay.
So know when to hold them, know when to throw them back, know when to walk away. So that would be the other aspect that I would tell people.
Awesome.
So,
all right. That is good advice. And I do find myself, well, now that I've been on the platform for a while, I am more confident, and I find more, honestly, I get more clients from people that are overseas. I don't know how they find me. I don't know what I've done in my advertising, that I've had people in Denmark find me. So I'm doing something right. And I get a lot of referrals from notaries who aren't doing Ron yet. So they'll pitch them over to me. So I get a lot that way. It is hard to try to talk a client into it's harder rather, unless they have kind of that mindset, open mindset, or they're like tech savvy. But I've had some, you know, people that were not tech savvy at all say, all right, I'll give it a try. And it worked out. And then, you know, I just like give them the rally at the end, like, oh, you did so good. And, you know, kind of boost up their confidence because they really tried something new. They got out of their box. And then I always ask them to spread the word, evangelize, run to all your friends, and tell them that it's a
Yep.
real thing. So,
Yeah, I've had people say, is there a way I can leave you a tip? And I said, you know, the best tip you can leave me is to post about this experience online to all your friends.
yeah,
And they do.
yeah.
I've gotten lots of referral business from current clients.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I also found is once you've got a client, they come back, come back, come back. I've had a client come back every year, multiples. Every year they come back for the same document,
Mm-hmm.
have it done online.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen clients from all walks of life too. I've seen people who are freaking out over a simple little tiny transaction. I've been in the room when a child's been born and they were giving it away for a family adoption. Yeah, they literally were notarizing the document in the delivery room. It was really awesome.
Wow.
I've worked with clients that were, my oldest one was 101 years old, and she used a credible witness to sign proof of life. And that was during the height of COVID. So anyone and everyone can do this. You know, I even, one of my clients is even, he works at NASA, and they come back to me because they don't like to go out into random public places. And they, even though they could just walk down the street or go down the street to the local bank, they don't want to. They want the security, they want the privacy that this brings to them.
Awesome. So, you know, people at NASA, is it your goal to notarize a document for somebody up in space? Yeah.
He's actually the project manager over the International Space Station. So, yeah. So I have my in. I just got to, I've pitched it a couple of times. He hasn't bit yet. I don't know quite how to do that, but I'm working it. I'm working it.
That would be
I do
like,
know that he'll call me if they ever need a notary up there.
there you go. All right. Well, thank you, Amy, for taking the time to chat with me today. This was great. And I want to say I love all the things that you do for the notaries on your platform, all the time that you take, the two live uh, uh, just calls, the live support sessions every month. You do, you sprinkle in different things. You had the rapping about Ron to help get, you know, more discussion going about the Ron industry. And, you know, you answer your phone and you're always there. Like I can text you or send you an email and you're like, getting right back to me. So I always appreciate that.
Even from my phone, I'm doing it. Yep.
Exactly. You've been in Mexico on vacation and have responded. So you are truly dedicated to your platform and to your subscribers. And I can't tell you how much I thank you and appreciate all that you've done for us in the Ron world. And you just keep elevating us. Like I love all things girl power, and you are like the epitome of girl power. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Have you heard what I've got coming out on the 1st?
Is that the? Why don't you tell me? I
I'm
saw an email, but
yes.
I'm not sure.
I'm releasing I call it a mini series of books. So a lot of times with Ron, you get all of this information, but it doesn't necessarily apply to you because it's not legal in your state. So I'm doing a one book a month. It's going to be they're mini books. So it's like 12 or 15 pages, one book about KBA. And then the next month it'll be about ID credential analysis because that is valid in all Ron states. But then we'll do a book about biometrics. So if you want to learn the insides of what biometrics is, and it's something you can use, you can buy each individual book. And they're only $1 for the ebooks. So it's not like a ton of money, but you could just buy segments. So we do oath of credible witness one time and so on and so forth. I don't even have all of them listed out, but they are going to be available on Kindle or Amazon on April 1st.
Awesome. Awesome. I had not heard that. I had not heard that. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So I hope you will agree to come back. I kind of want to just sit and talk to you about some of the interesting clients that you've had, because it seems like we could talk like for an hour about just the different situations and the clients. And
Oh my goodness, I had to shut one down literally last week.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that would be an interesting one. We should do that because
Okay.
I've got probably like 5 that come to mind just like that.
Okay. So I'll email you and we'll schedule another
All
call for
right.
that. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know you got a busy day ahead of you. You always have a busy day. So thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you again soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to coming back.
I do
All right,
my
thank you.
hair
Bye, everybody.
toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?